Hey, Luke here. Today I'm going to be reviewing DungeonFog, an RPG map-making tool. Now in this review of DungeonFog, my goal is to give you some basic information about what the software can do so that you can decide whether it's worth checking out or not. And one of the things I love right off the bat about DungeonFog is that there is a free version that you can try to see if you like it before moving into a paid version. Now, just so that we are on the level, this is a sponsored video, but I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the dude from DungeonFog when he first reached out to me. I only recommend things to my viewers that I personally believe in. Oh, and if you've used DungeonFog yourself already, then please let us all know down in the comments what you think about it. Now, the very first thing that I want to do here is give you an idea of what DungeonFog can do. And I think the very best way to do that is to take a tour of some maps. All right, check out this bad boy here. This is the Rusty Dragon Inn. As you can see here, it has the basic amenities that you would expect a map of an inn to have. And check out these awesome amazing lighting effects that you can add in the tool. And notice here too as well that DungeonFog can help you map out both stories of the inn on the same map. Alright, moving right along. This is Clifftop Keep. It has 3 floors, so you can also map out each individual level. And what I really love about this map is, check out all of this awesome, incredible detail that you can add. All of these little widgets really bring the map to life. And moving right along, here we have Shadowfell Keep. The first thing that you'll notice about this map is it is much less complicated, more streamlined than the previous 2 maps. But it is still totally awesome. Basically, you don't have to create something so elaborate if you don't want to, because something like this totally works. And also, I want you to look at all of these awesome, cool creature tokens that you can place on the map. In fact, there is an entire library of creature tokens now that you can use for your maps. And for this bad boy right here, we've mapped out the entire dungeon, and there are also Game Master notes to go along with it. Alright, this map right here called Apocalypse is proof that DungeonFog doesn't just do fantasy maps. Here's an excellent example of a modern age RPG map that looks amazing. And of course, there are lots of different levels, lots and lots of levels to these buildings, and you can map all of those out in the tool as well. And finally, I want to give you a glimpse of Windtancer, because not all maps are of dungeons or buildings, of course. Here we have a ship. You need maps for nautical campaigns as well, don't you? Now, I know exactly what you're thinking about this point. Holy crap, Luke, those maps are really cool, but that tool is pretty complicated in order to get those results, isn't it? Actually, what I found is that the tool is pretty darn easy to use. There is a learning curve like there is with anything that you're going to pick up and start learning. However, once you get the hang of it, it's really just a matter of clicking some menu options, dragging, dropping, and clicking. It's not hard at all. I have used other mapping softwares in my days as a dungeon master, whose names I will not mention to protect the innocent. And holy crap, DungeonFog is much easier to use. I was actually able to figure out most of what DungeonFog can do, like 80% of it, by just opening it up and playing around inside the tool. There were a couple things that were a little bit frustrating for me to figure out, but once I figured them out, it wasn't that bad at all. And the other cool thing too is that there are video tutorials that will show you how to do lots of different stuff in the tool, and there are online forums where you can go and ask for help as well. And I think the video tutorials were actually pretty legit. Besides being pretty darn easy to use, it's also fairly fast to crack out maps once you get the hang of it. Obviously, the more complex map you're going to create, the longer it's going to take you. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it is a lot faster than you think. DungeonFog is browser-based. Now, I actually like this feature of the tool because it brings lots of benefits. There's no download, there are no files to save, and when you switch between different computers like your desktop and your laptop, it's easy. You can even work on maps on your lunch break at work, and maybe when you're supposed to be working too. All of the maps that you create are synced to the cloud, and there are no storage limits for your maps. These dudes got big servers. Now, of course, the only drawback to being browser-based is that you need to be connected to the internet to use DungeonFog, but in our connected age, I really don't see that as a big deal. Unless you're living in the desert or the fringes of civilization, but I don't know that you necessarily need to create maps if that's the case. You're probably more interested in surviving and hunting your food, defending yourself from wild attackers, exploring forgotten ruins. Alright, now here's a really awesome, amazing feature. When I was showing you all of those maps at the beginning of this review, I bet you were thinking, holy crap, Luke, you made some really cool maps. Nope, not at all. I cloned those maps from community-generated maps. And that is the amazing feature of DungeonFog. Anybody, when you make a map, you can share it with the community, and then anybody else can make a clone of your map and then customize it and use it in their groups. I mean, holy crap, do you know how much time that's going to save game masters? I mean, instead of making a map from scratch, you can go out to the community, grab one, pull it into your game, customize it. And the great part about this too is that as the DungeonFog community grows, there are going to be more and more community maps made available to all users. The next thing I really like about DungeonFog is not only can you create maps, but you can create notes for all of the different rooms and corridors in your map. You can add bookmarks to all of those rooms and corridor notes in your map, and you can also print them off in case you run your game at a physical table and don't want to have DungeonFog open and referring to them. However, I can also see lots of great benefits of just carrying your laptop to the game, and then you open up DungeonFog, there's your map, there are all your notes about that map. I mean, man, you can leave your binders and paper at home. You might even get rid of your dice. No, that's going too far. Now, this next feature that I like, I pretty much already showed you this when I was showing off all those cool maps, but you can add different levels to your buildings and dungeons, overlaying them within the tool itself. This is amazingly useful for very obvious reasons. Now, another thing that blows my mind is that DungeonFog is a relatively new piece of software, and it already has all of these amazing features. And they're constantly adding to the features in the software. For instance, I just recently logged into the interface, and I found all of these amazing creature tokens had been added, and I'd never seen them before. As I mentioned at the very, very beginning of this review, there is a free version available before you actually put money on the table and buy the thing, and that is something that I find so amazingly useful. There is nothing worse than spending a bunch of money on something to be able to even see what it does, and then finding out that you think it sucks. The yearly subscription to DungeonFog is only $50, and I think that that is actually really good considering all of the amazing features that you get and the fact that they're constantly adding to them. And you can also use the promo code Lair to get 10% off a yearly sub. Obviously, I have a link down in the description if you want to check DungeonFog out. And you should, it's free, you have nothing to lose. Now, part of creating an awesome game for your players is building fun and exciting encounters for them. To help you do just that, I have created an encounter building series where I walk through the techniques that I use in my games to make my encounters memorable and exciting for my players. So click right here on the screen to learn how to take your encounters to the next level. And until next time, let's play D&D.